boys and girls. Today you're going to listen to Little Bear's Christmas. I hope that you enjoy it. It is written by Norbert Landa and it's illustrated by Marlis Sharaf. Little Bear's Christmas. Here he is. He's on the title page. Looks like he's drawing pictures of Santa. Maybe a little mouse too, with a Santa hat on. And there's Little Bear. He's the main character in the story. What season does it look like right now, friends? That's right, looks like fall or autumn. Let's see what's happening. It was autumn in Bear Valley. The wind ripped the bright leaves from the trees and swept them into great rustling heaps. "I can do something you can't," shouted Bertie Bear gleefully. He scrambled up a tree and then let himself drop into a soft pile of leaves below. Wally and Wilma Wolf watched him. "Autumn leaves are the best," shouted Bertie. "I don't think so," snorted Wally. "Winter snow is better." "Snow? What's that?" asked the little bear. "You don't know what snow is because you bears sleep through the winter," said Wilma. "You're just saying that because you're jealous and you can't climb trees," growled Bertie. The next day, the three friends went out to fly kites. Bertie's kite flew the highest. "Flying kites may be fun," said Wally grumpily, "but Christmas is better. Santa Claus brings wonderful presents, and we all sing Christmas carols." "I've never heard of Santa Claus," laughed Bertie. "But if you will sing the way you howl, I'd rather be asleep." The following morning, Bertie, Wally, and Wilma went to gather mushrooms. "Here's another one," called Bertie. "Look how many mushrooms I've found already. We'll have a delicious supper tonight." Wally and Wilma looked glumly into their empty baskets. "Mushrooms are yummy," said Wilma. "Maybe honey cakes and chocolate hearts from Santa Claus are best," said Wally. But remember, Little Bear doesn't know who Santa Claus is. Doesn't even know what the winter looks like, according to this story, because he's sleeping during the winter. So let's see what happens. That evening, Bertie asked his mother to tell him all about winter, the snow, and Santa Claus. So now he's going to get some clarification from his mom. Mom's going to help him out. It says, "Winter is very cold and bleak," said Mrs. Bear. "The mushrooms, the berries disappear, and even the rain freezes. It turns white and settles on the ground, and everyone calls it snow. Sensible people, like us bears, go to bed and stay there until the warm spring arrives." "And what about Santa Claus?" asked Bertie. "I was coming to him," said Mrs. Bear. "People who don't sleep through the winter aren't as lucky as we are. They have to trudge about in the cold snow. Santa Claus brings them presents to give them something to look forward to in the dark days of winter." "What does he look like?" "Well, I've never seen him, but they say he wears a red coat and he has a white beard." Mrs. Bear gave Bertie a big hug and sang him a lullaby. "I suppose we bears do have to sleep through Christmas," said Bertie to himself. "But I still want to see Santa Claus, and I think I know how to do it. If I sleep as much as I can now, I'll be wide awake for Christmas." Boys and girls, do you think that's going to work? If he sleeps a lot now, he'll be awake for Christmas? All right, let's see. The next day, Bear Valley was shrouded in fog. Then it started to rain. Wally and Wilma sailed their boats in the puddles, but Bertie stayed in bed. "What's the matter?" asked Mrs. Bear. "Aren't you feeling well?" "No, I'm fine," said Bertie. "I just want to sleep a little longer." "Sleep? At this time of day?" Mrs. Bear was worried and called Dr. Wolf. Dr. Wolf checked Bertie's tongue and took his temperature. "This little one's fine," he said. "Maybe the weather is making him tired. I can feel snow coming, but I'm sure he'll be bright as a button by Christmas." "Christmas?" Bertie listened hard. "Shh, doctor, "Please don't mention Christmas," whispered Mrs. Bear. "You know we bears sleep through the winter." "Yes, I forgot," he said. "Well, sleep soundly." Dr. Wolf hurried home. It was growing very cold, and dark clouds hung over Bear Valley. Snow was on its way. Remember, he just wants to be up for Christmas. A few days later, Mrs. Bear prepared the cottage for their winter sleep. She tidied the kitchen, swept the floor, and hung a sack of grain from the ceiling. Sorry, I lost my place. Then she locked the door, closed the shutters, and yawned. "Time for bed," she said, giving Birdie a good-night kiss. "Sleep well, little cub, until springtime." Mrs. Bear went into her bedroom, but came out again almost immediately. "Have you seen my alarm clock?" she asked. Birdie closed his eyes and lay as still as he could. "Goodness, he's fast asleep already," said Mrs. Bear. "Never mind. I don't need an alarm clock. The spring sunshine will wake me up." She tiptoed out of the room. Birdie laughed quietly to himself. "I've hidden the alarm clock under my bed. It'll wake me up at Christmas, and then—" But Birdie fell asleep before he could finish. In the valley, the snow began to fall in thick white flakes. All was quiet and still. It was very peaceful. Inside the cottage, the little bear slept for a very long time. Suddenly, the alarm clock went off. Birdie nearly fell out of bed in surprise. "What a noise!" He turned it off as soon as he could. Did Mrs. Bear hear it too? No. All Birdie could hear was his mother's gentle snoring. He threw open the shutters and looked out. Boys and girls, do you think it's Christmas? What does he see? He's never seen this before. He sees snow. You're right. He looks, if you can look at his expression, he definitely looks surprised. He looks a little scared. He has his little bear. This is something he just never seen it before. He doesn't know what to expect. But look, he keeps venturing out. He's far away from his little cottage. It was a miracle. Someone had covered the whole valley in a white fluffy blanket, as thick and soft as a feather bed. So this was snow. And thought Birdie, where there's snow, Santa Claus can't be far away. Birdie tied on his scarf, opened the door, and stepped out into the shining white snow. He listened carefully, but couldn't hear a sound. "I'm going to find Santa Claus," he whispered to himself as he plodded up the hill. Every step left a small, deep paw print. The snow felt fluffy, but it wasn't as warm as a feather bed. In fact, it was very cold, but he still thinks it's amazing. Remember, he's never experienced anything like this before. Oh, what is it? The expression on his face? Tell us about how he's feeling. He's dancing in the snow. I'm thinking he's enjoying it and he's feeling very happy. At last, Birdie reached the top of the hill. From here, he could see across the whole valley. He looked in every direction. Where was Santa Claus? Then he felt something cold and wet on his nose, a snowflake, and another once again. Snowflakes came dancing down from the sky, and Birdie danced with them until he was dizzy. By the time he stopped for breath, there were so many whirling snowflakes that he could hardly see past his nose. "Santa Claus, where are you?" he shouted. "Can you hear me?" But Santa Claus didn't answer. Oh no. Looks like he's a little bit upset. Maybe he's just yelling for Santa. He has his little bear, his little stuffed bear, to keep him company. Everything was silent. The snow continued to flutter down from the sky. Birdie waited. His feet were getting cold. Then he began to feel hungry, and soon he started to feel frightened. Darkness was falling. "How can I find Santa Claus in the dark?" he sighed. "I'd better go home while I can still find my way." Birdie slid down the hill, following the paw prints he had made before. But the snow fell quickly, and soon his paw prints were covered over. Now Birdie didn't know where he was or how to find his way home. "Help!" he shouted. "I'm lost and I want to go home." Oh, so he's definitely upset. He can't follow his prints back home. The snow has covered them over. Oh, boy. Oh, who's this? My goodness, I can't believe he found him. Birdie listened hard for an answer. He couldn't hear anything except a distant howling. Could that be Wally and Wilma singing? No, it was only the wind. But then Birdie heard a faint jingling. Then a sleigh appeared through the snowflakes. "Hey, stop!" shouted the little bear. "Please wait for me." The driver pulled on his reins and turned around. He was wrapped from head to toe in a thick blanket, and all Birdie could see was a friendly face with twinkling blue lights. The little bear stepped nearer and stared, astonished. The sleigh had no wheels. It sped across the snow on huge skis pulled by reindeer with magnificent antlers. "Hello, Birdie," cried the driver. "Where have you come from? Shouldn't all little bears be asleep by now?" "Well, yes, they should, really," murmured Birdie, embarrassed. "But I wanted to look for Santa Claus, and now I can't find my way home." "I thought so," laughed the driver. "Come with me and hold tight. You see the reindeer? Do we think it's Santa, friends?" Of course. Who else could it be? Look at he gets to ride with Santa. Oh, one little present's falling off the sleigh. Birdie climbed aboard, amazed. "Giddy up!" shouted the driver, and the reindeer gave a mighty leap. In no time, the sleigh was flying through the air. Birdie was terrified. The ground seemed so far below them. "Hey, where are we going?" he called out nervously. "We're taking you home, of course." Well, this seems like a very nice man. Ooh, look at the owl. He's watching, and there's his cottage, of course. In no time at all, the sleigh swept back to earth and landed right in front of the bear's cottage. The driver leaped down from his seat and threw off the blanket. Now Birdie could see that he was wearing a red coat. You're Santa Claus," stammered the little bear. "Of course I am," laughed Santa. "But quiet now, or you'll wake up your mother." He pulled a cloth off the sleigh, and Birdie saw a huge heap of packages and parcels and presents. "Now, what would you like for Christmas?" asked Santa Claus. Birdie thought hard. "I'll have honey cakes and chocolate hearts, please. And for Mommy, chocolate hearts and honey cakes." "That's easy," said Santa Claus. He rummaged about in his sleigh and finally pulled out 2 packages. Together they carried them into the cottage. "I have to go now," whispered Santa Claus. "Wally and Wilma are waiting for me. But I'll tell you what. Next Christmas, I'll bring you presents too, but only if you're asleep. Is that a deal?" "It's a deal," said Birdie. Boy. Oh, he's back in his cottage. His mama is sleeping. Birdie watched as Santa Claus scrambled back up into his sleigh and shot off so fast it sent sparks flying. Soon he could only see a tiny speck in the dark sky. Or was that a star? Birdie was much too tired to think about it now. He tiptoed into his room, hid the presents in his toy chest, and crawled into bed. Then he fell asleep. So there are the presents from Santa. He's going to put them under his bed. When Birdie woke up again, it was daylight. He could smell flowers. Birds were twittering. Mrs. Bear had thrown open the windows. "Good morning, little one," she cried, kissing Birdie on the nose. "Time to get up. It's springtime." "Springtime?" Birdie rubbed his eyes and yawned. Then he remembered Santa Claus was here. "The mice were here, you mean," called Mrs. Bear from the kitchen. "Look what they've done to our sack of grain. Look, they ate through it. And look at, there's a little one running with some food, and they'll do that. Oh boy, they've chewed through the ropes and they've eaten every scrap. What will we have for breakfast?" "Honey cakes and chocolate hearts," shouted Birdie, running to his toy box. "And chocolate hearts and honey cakes." Then he told Mrs. Bear the whole story. "And the best thing is, Santa Claus will come again next year," said the little bear. "Yes," agreed Mrs. Bear, "but only if you are asleep." Oh, and look at his friends are back, and they're enjoying. Look at the gifts from Santa for breakfast. Yummy. A little later, Wally and Wilma peeped through the window. They sniffed the air curiously. "That's funny," they said. "Your house smells like Christmas." Mrs. Bear and Birdie winked at one another. "We bears always celebrate Christmas a little late," they said. "Didn't you know that?" I wonder if they're going to invite their friends over. Let's see. Nope, that's the end. But I'm hoping that they're going to invite them over for some nice honey cakes. And that is the end of our story. And I hope that you enjoyed Little Bear's Christmas. And I will see you next time. Bye.